Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim down the nose cone to make it a tighter fit to the body. So push this off to the side. All we're going to need is the scissors for this. First off, take our body tube, not the side with the part that's drying, and put it in. This will give you a rough idea of how far down you need to go. If you have your pencil handy, which I don't, you can mark the body to give you a rough idea how far down you're going to need to cut. I'm going to cut a little bit, mark kind of far out. That way I won't risk overcutting it. I won't have a mark I have to end up accidentally erasing later as well, because when you stick it in like this, you're measuring it to the inner diameter and we're lining it up to the outer diameter of the tube. So that's probably a decent approximation. Might have actually even been not high up enough. So we're just going to take our nose cone and take off little pieces at a time and work our way down. If you take off too much, it's very easy to get it to where you can't fix it and make it nice and round later. You might also end up with a piece like this where it pushes up inside because it's not glued. It's not really a big deal. Just cut it anyways and we'll glue it later during a different step where we correct that and some other issues. So I've trimmed off some. I'm not close to my line, but I'm going to check it anyways for those of you who aren't. And we're just going to see if the body still fits inside the nose cone. If it does, we still need to trim off a little bit as well. So I'm going to come back to somewhere hopefully close to where I was and keep trimming. All the while I'm doing this, I'm paying attention to be sure that it stays kind of flat. You'll end up with some peaks and valleys and overall, and try and cut it in such a way that keeps it flat. It's much easier to do with a different cutting instrument, but I'm trying to use scissors for the majority of this intentionally. We're getting really close to my line that I drew, so we're going to check it again to see how close it's getting, and it's actually getting really, really close. I'm just going to level this off kind of more flat to help deal with those little valleys that I've been creating, and hopefully not in the process level it too much, because if I do, that means I might have to make a new nose cone. So it's about level. It's actually really close to that line, and I need to remove just a little bit more on this side, because what our goal is to do is to have the nose cone line up to the outside of the tube. It doesn't need to be perfect, just kind of similar. And also once you line it up, try and hold it out and look at it just to be sure it's not crooked off to the side, kind of like that. Just so it generally fits. We'll be matching it up to actually the part that's inside there later, which this part inside here should hopefully be dry enough if you used a glue stick. If you use Elmer's glue, you might need to go, grab yourself a cup of tea or whatever. So we'll use our sticky tool to pull it out. And from here, we're going to cut this probably approximately in half because part of it will go inside of here. And what I'm going to do is grab my scissors and just cut. I'm not cutting near the center. One of the reasons I'm doing this, we're probably only going to use half of this. So we're going to cut that 1/4 off. And you'll notice once we do, it'll crease it, and this will have to be kind of flattened to make it usable and keep it nice and round. And then I'll trim it up in a similar method. You can, if you really want, just clip it there as well and just re-flatten it with your fingers. But when you make this cut, if it doesn't or cannot be easily flattened back out, you're going to need to trim it down. In this case, this paper is pliable enough that I'm just going to save myself the time and trim off the next section and mash it back kind of into round and be sure it still fits easily. I'll take these two sections and leave them separate, and grab my white glue, and probably going to pull this up with one finger. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to put like a drop of glue down inside there on this side. I'm going to do it for both sides because I imagine it's not glued on both sides, which it's not. You can actually fold it down kind of a lot. And put another drop of glue inside there. And we're going to grab our other ballpoint pen, the one that's not the sticky tool, and stick it down inside and force it to round out. Problem with this, of course, is you are getting glue everywhere when you do this. Try and do it in such a way that you push it back in, as in you're spinning against it, not with it and pulling it in. And we'll set this part aside to dry. Wash off my little pen. The next step is going to involve using this piece, which is the longer of the two. We are going to need to use the file for this as well. It should have dried enough. It shouldn't take too terribly long to dry because we're actually going to be grinding the outer edge. So gluing the inside of it hopefully won't cause us too much trouble right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of create a beveled edge where the edge will go from looking kind of like this to something a bit more like this. And we're doing it like this to make it so it matches up with the nose cone a little bit easier. If you don't have a file, you don't have an emery board or sandpaper or any other way to do it, you can actually match it up like this. It's just more difficult to do and requires you to hold it longer while you do it. So while we're doing this, go ahead and grab one of the sides. Doesn't really matter which. I'm going to go with the side that I cut because, actually, yeah, the side that I cut because it's the straighter of the two. And I'm just going to use this and grind it down. Kind of going to watch this right now because it is kind of weak because it's still wet, so it can mash kind of easily. And we're just going to grind it down and look to see what type of edge we're getting on it. This can take a little while, so probably stop the video here. It probably takes 2 or 3 minutes to do. It's kind of a waste of space of video. So we're going to do that and get it down, and then once we get a kind of a visible angle on it, you'll put it inside here and be sure that it lines up, and you can make it kind of nice and straight. And then we'll be going on and gluing that in a minute or two.